You have that expectation of what life is supposed to be, but your reality is now not matching to the expectation, and you find yourself in this space of in between, and you don't know which way to go, doing all those practices of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and doing all those little things. I discovered that we can decide to be happy. We can decide. We have this amazing power of choice. You don't have to be like somebody else. You get to redefine your own normal, and you're not broken.
Hey everyone, it's Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive into today's conversation. You may have been watching the podcast videos, but have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button. So if you have ever gained value from our videos, from our conversations, it would mean so much to us if you would hit that subscribe button below right now, or even just give us a like. And what that means is not only does it allow us to grow our subscriber base, but it allows us to bring in more important guests for you to listen to. And you will be one of the first ones to be notified. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get started on today's conversation. Welcome to the Pathways to Wellbeing podcast. My name's Sophia from Sacred You. And more importantly, I'm really excited to talk to our beautiful guest today. Irina, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome, because I'm really wanting to get interested and really excited to be talking about the topic is the secret to feeling happy again, which is, I think it's so needed in today's world. We have I call it like a pandemic of people just not fulfilling their life purpose, not really living to their true potential. So definitely want to talk all about that. And Irina, you're a transformational coach. You're a best-selling author. Want to know more about that. And you host 2 impactful podcasts as well. So I am honored that you're on our podcast. And you help women, especially single parents, to rediscover happiness and purpose after a lot of emotional pain. So Irina, can we just start, and can you share first what led you to explore this path of helping women reclaim their joy?
Yes, a personal experience, becoming a single parent myself of a newborn and a 5-year-old, and living in a misery, waiting for somebody to come rescue me. Because I maybe had a loss of identity. I did have loss of identity. I didn't know who I was outside of being a label of somebody's wife, somebody's mom. But who am I no longer knew. And I was waiting for somebody to come rescue me. And of course, nobody did. And living in that victimhood mentality, I thought I was being good by avoiding conflict, by staying quiet, by being complacent. But it's not. When we do that to ourselves, we lose pieces of ourselves little by little, and that's what happened in my case. And kind of the catalyst was one day I was standing on a train platform, missing my train by mere seconds, after dropping 2 kids off at 2 different places, and coming to the realization I actually missed the train, and every day was me rushing towards this job where I didn't feel like I was living. I was rushing closer to my death, and I didn't feel like I was living. I said, what's the point of all this life? Do we just come here to suffer? Why does it have to be so difficult? And at that point, I decided that I didn't come here to suffer. I wanted to be happy again. And I decided, I didn't know how, what or when, but I'm going to change. And that's how my journey began. And then after listening to podcasts, attending seminars and studying, in September 2019 at Growth Summit in Phoenix, Arizona, I attended a live event, and Ivan Carmichael, who was on stage, inspired me. He said, there is not enough belief in this world today, and you should help somebody who is a step behind you. And I wanted to help women like myself who thought the best life was over. And I want to tell them that's nothing further from the truth. You can create the best life yet, because every day is an opportunity for us to create a brand new day. We don't have to carry the baggage of yesterday into today. So that started my journey of wanting to help others.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm just writing that down. Create a brand new day every day. And it's so important because we get so much caught up in yesterday and everything else and all the problems and all the issues. We tend to bring all our problems home or take our problems to bed with us. And then we've got them when we wake up rather than just creating a brand new day. So thank you for sharing that. Really. And I said, it's so common that women, especially over 40, whether their children have left them, their relationship might have broken down, they might have had change of job or may have lost their job, that they so identify with themselves with, and they feel lost after all those years of caregiving to others like yourself, that they identify with being a mother, with being a wife, being with whatever it is. But why do you think that this loss of identity is so common, but also not talked about very much?
I think because we all have expectations of a life, how, you're supposed to go to school, get good grades, go to the job, do the thing, start a family, or do the career first and then start a family. And you live this, not pretentious, but you have this idea that you live in. And if everything goes well and everything just going, hopping along, nobody would ever stop and question, where is my life going? Why am I here? What am I creating? Because imagine your expectation of life and your reality match with each other. So you don't have a reason to ask anything. You just move along. And when some tragic event occurs, if there is a loss in the family, a loss of identity, a loss of a partner, maybe somebody became a widow, now your world is distorted. You have that expectation of what life is supposed to be, but your reality is now not matching to the expectation, and you find yourself in this space of in between, and you don't know which way to go, and you have that loss of identity because whoever you imagine to be is not how it's coming out in real life, and now you need to discover what the new normal is. And you start looking everywhere. How is this person living? How is that person living? And why am I so different? In my case, I was a brand new single parent and everybody around me was married and happy. And I was this weird outlier. On outside, everybody looked happy, but we only see outside appearances. We don't know what's happening inside behind closed doors. And what I've discovered is that we get to create our own normal, and it doesn't have to look like other people's normal. We get to define what it is for us after we find who we are, what makes us tick, what makes us come alive.
Yes, it is discovering that, isn't it? Just taking that time to discover, as you said, what makes us come alive and to really allow ourselves to experience that. And I know, Irina, and I'm assuming that you've experienced this with yourself and other people too, that for a lot of women, because we're so caught up in giving, right, and we're so caught up in doing, we become human doings instead of human beings, that there's a fear of slowing down, a fear of just being still, because it can bring up all that pain that we've avoided. But why do you think women are stuck in the patterns of busyness and overgiving? What keeps them stuck there?
Because they're afraid to be with their own thoughts and listening to all that might come up, because we are our own worst judge. Nobody would ever judge us as harshly as we judge ourselves. We're constantly looking for shortcomings, things we didn't complete. We only remember the bad things about our life. We never highlight the good things. Even if you remember going back to the old days when teachers grade students' paper, they mark everything with a red pen, highlighting what went wrong and never spending a little bit of time to highlighting what went right.
Yes.
How much good happened. We always take the good for granted, and we're so focused on the negative, on the bad, and we put the bad on the pedestal, and we live all our life looking for shortcomings in anything. We so often forget about our accomplishments, things we take for granted. I used to take walking for granted. It's such a trivial thing until I dislocated my knee, and I'm totally fine and safe now. But there hasn't been a day that has gone by, and that's been already 4 years, since 21, where I say, whenever I walk, say, thank you, my knees, for letting me walk. Sounds silly maybe to some people, but you never start to appreciate something you lost. So why wait until you lose something? Start appreciating now something that you take for granted. The fact that we are speaking with you right now on the opposite side of the world, the fact that we can hear and see each other and understand each other, why not appreciate for that? Be grateful for that and celebrate the good things in life. Because we are all human, we will make mistakes, but we don't need to dwell on them. We can take mistake as a learning opportunity and then take a good positive lesson. What did I learn from this experience, so that next time some kind of event occurs, how can I implement what I learned over here and make a different decision next time?
Totally agree with you. Totally, absolutely agree with you. We spend so much of our time looking for the bad and highlighting, as you said, the bad things, the negative things. And I was just, if I could share very briefly, now I was having a conversation with my business partner about, we're working on things. And I was the one that pointed out a couple of things that needed to be fixed without even saying anything about all the stuff that was really good. So totally get you on that we do so much look at the negative rather than positive. Look at the thing, take things for granted without being grateful for them until we lose them. So if we could just slowly change that and bring back being grateful for the little things in our life before we lose them.
Yeah. And I also make mistakes. So yesterday my son asked me to look over, he wrote some sentences. And immediately I went into correction mode. I said, stop it. I just want your opinion. What did you think of like the structure and how does it sound? And I immediately went to correct. So we all make mistakes, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it's like being able to catch yourself when you're doing that and shift.
It's a whole learning process and journey. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of your other core messages is that happiness isn't gone, but it's buried beneath the pain, which is so true again. How do you help women start to uncover that buried happiness, that buried joy? What can they do? What are some steps that they can do?
Start taking care of yourself. Maybe there was something you always wanted to do, but you always put it aside, saying, I'm going to do it someday, somehow, sometime later. Why not do it right now? We are not promised tomorrow. Every day is a gift. What are we waiting for? For some better day to come? Some women keep their best clothes in the closet and they never wear them. I had a friend, and that kind of shifted her mentality. Her mom died when she was very young, and she had all these beautiful clothes and she never got to wear them. So now my friend, the way she lives her life, she dresses up even when she's at home, when she greets people, or if nobody is coming, just for themselves. Doing something for yourself, not because you get some kind of benefit. It's your own personal, how you relate to yourself. Taking care of yourself. Start exercising physically, taking yourself out on a walk. Doing things for yourself and not saying, oh, I'm selfish. You gotta be selfish. If we all can be a little more selfish towards ourselves, there is a better version that can show up for others. First of all, we got to show up for ourselves. We got to be there for ourselves with our own ideas and things. And then I recommend to people to do 10 minutes of joy every day. Do something that sets your soul on fire, wherever it is for you, whether it's rope jumping, singing, baking, cooking, whatever lights you up. Doing that for yourself, it becomes like something for you to look forward to every single day. And when you are lit up, you notice how time just melts away because you're doing something you're passionate about. And when you're taking care of others, when you're in that mode, or you gotta do, like you forget how to be. And I think through happiness, through passion, we discover a little pieces of ourselves, a little fractals of what makes our personality through our passions. So for myself, it's singing. I love singing. That's something I cannot live without. And I've discovered that through my journey. I was not a singer before my breakup happened. And yeah, discovering what it is that sets your soul on fire and doing that for yourself every day.
I love that. Discovering what sets your soul on fire and doing that every day. Thank you so very much. And Irina, just another question I'd love to know is very similar. So you may have already answered it, but as a coach, you guide your clients through healing across all 4 levels of our life, the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. Can you walk us through, please, what kind or what this kind of full spectrum alignment looks like in practice?
Sure. So I'm all about instilling habits. I believe habits are all good because they all produce a result. And if we don't like the result, we got to change the habit. And in my framework, I'm focusing on, because I believe we are holistic beings and we operate in 4 states of being simultaneously. So practicing habits. So in physical health, it's all about, it's a morning routine. It's the first habit. It doesn't matter when you wake up, but how you wake up. What do you do for yourself? So coming back to being selfish and setting aside time to do the things for you. Because you gotta charge up your battery in the morning. And I wasn't a morning person before. But what I realized, if I wake up before my kids are up, I get to do the things I love. Not the things I have to do, but the things that makes my soul complete. The things that make me start my day on a better note. So I love watching sunrises in the morning. I get to experience when the day is being born, when the sun is coming out across the horizon and the sky changes colors from crimson to pink, and you get to be there. You feel like you didn't miss anything. And everything that happens afterwards, you're already ready for it. You're not as reactive. You're more responsive because you did something. You petted yourself, your soul. You gave your soul nourishment. Because when you wake up, you gotta feed your senses, flood your senses with goodness. Spending a little time in meditation, working yourself, doing something you love. And singing is also part of my morning routine. I do 10 minutes of singing. I do it in the car, so I'm not bothering anybody. But yeah, walking, exercising, and doing gratitude when I wake up in the morning, saying the day is going to be awesome. No matter what, before anything happens, the day will be awesome. And 3 things I'm grateful for. The fact that I'm alive, I'm standing, I have a roof over my head. Doesn't have to be complicated or big, but that's the first habit in the physical health. Then we do about nourishment, what we put in our mind, in the mouth, what kind of food. And I believe in wholesome food, wholesome diet. So we work on that. And then there is exercise, a third step. Exercise can be different, doesn't have to be going in the gym. Could be just running or taking a swim. Whatever allows your soul, how you are feeling best. And then we move into the next, the emotional stage. And then we focus on other habits like meditation, forgiveness, and gratitude, and creating that for ourselves. Hobbies. I'm a great believer in hobbies, if you might notice, because talking about singing. But I believe through habits, we discover a little bit of who we are. And then another habit is being present in the now. Life is so fast paced that we constantly, attention span is now 3 seconds long on the video. We gotta catch it. So we gotta slow down time. And how can we do that? By being present. And being present is very simple, actually. When I'm talking with you, I'm present with you. I'm thinking, I'm talking, I'm right here. When we are singing, when we are speaking, we are being present. When we are eating amazing food, if we can just slow down and taste that morsel of food and savor it just for a second. Or when we see a smile on a child's face, or if we see a rainbow, take a mental photograph with our eyes, with our mind, and slow it down and preserve it for ourselves. And in the end of the day, when we go to sleep, instead of remembering all the things that went bad or didn't work out, we can remember 3 things that went well that day and preserve that for ourselves. It's like a fairy tale. We tell kids when they go to sleep, what if we tell a fairy tale for ourselves? By remembering what 3 things happened that went well. Let me know if you want me to keep on going or I can stop.
It's so true. And I just want to thank you for sharing that. And really thank you again, an honor. It's an honor to talk to you, Irina, and I'd just like to honor you for bringing your journey, your experience to the world, and helping other women go through it, because so many women do go through losing their identity, getting caught up in relationships and whether it's being a wife or a mother and their work, so many. And then they lose it and they lose their identity. So thank you for sharing that. And waking up being grateful is such a powerful foundation for the day. Plus so many other things. Thank you. Now tell us more, because I'm assuming that this is in your wonderful book. You are a very successful author, whereas before we were chatting, before we started, that you actually have 7 books out. Some of them are co-authored, but you also have your own book, The Gift Inside, and that is such a good and powerful title as well. And in it, I do believe, or I know that you've written that every experience, no matter how painful, carries the seed of transformation. And when we stop resisting and start receiving, we uncover the gift inside. I like that. What inspired you, Irina, to write this book, and how can readers of it begin to shift their perspective from pain into purpose?
The book is actually why inspired to share my journey. So the habits I talked about, they're actually all in the book. They're all lined out in 4 states of being. What inspired me, I always wanted to be a writer. It was a dream of mine. And little did I know, and I started this dream when I was working my way back to myself. I used to practice Tony Robbins calls the power hour.
Yes.
The first hour of the day. So I would write down how I wanted my life to be and what did I want to do with my life.
Yes.
And one of them was becoming an author. And I kind of forgotten about that dream that I had. This was back in 2015. And in 22, I became an author through my podcast, because one of the guests I invited to speak on the podcast was a former single mom, and she was a publisher, and she invited me to be a part of her book. It was a compilation. The book was called Sacred Surrender, and it came out in April of 22. Meanwhile, I was writing this book. I started writing in September of 2020 when I joined Brandon Bouchard Mastermind. That's when I started. I was pen to paper and basically sharing my story, my journey, my framework for getting back to myself, because I believe life is too short to go on living unhappy, and a lot of women get stuck in the victimhood. What has happened, what taken place, and to justify how our life is. We have all these stories in our life, and we have an opportunity to write a new story. Nobody's stopping us. We are stopping ourselves from creating a different story. So the gift inside is my way of paying it forward. I don't want women to spend decades, years in misery, because I wish I had this guide when I started, but I didn't. I went through everything that I've written. I went through personally myself. And then looking back, I started like, what did I do? What is the first step? What is the second step? And that's how my journey started, with simply taking a walk outside and then doing all those practices of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and doing all those little things. I discovered that we can decide to be happy. We can decide. We have this amazing power of choice. We often forget. Life is going to happen to us, but it's our reaction to what happens, how we can respond. We are in control of that.
And
Nobody can take that away from us. But we often forget.
That is so very true, that we are in control of our life. It is up to us to how we respond. So thank you for sharing that. And I just want to again acknowledge what you've done. I've also have done Tony Robbins' Power of Hour, another thing that recommend for everyone who is listening. And I follow and study with Brendan as well. So you're speaking my language. So thank you. Incredible. Love to keep on talking to you. So please do come back for a second conversation. And with your book and also your podcasts, you have 2 podcasts. You've reached thousands, Irene. So congratulations on that. In your time of being an author and a podcaster, what's been the most transformation that you've seen in someone who's applied your approach in what you're doing?
One lady who was living on food stamps and paycheck to paycheck. She was a single mom of 3 kids. And after working with me, she created her own business and now is teaching others. So that was the greatest transformation. And I also enabled, how many? I think maybe 5 authors by sharing what I'm doing and bringing them into the world of publishing so they can write books as well. So through my podcast, I basically, so 2 books happened as a result of the podcast, the Single Parent Success Stories one, and I invited authors or guests who were on the podcast to share in a book. So they became published authors, and they've done books like that as well.
Nice. Congratulations on that. Really. And again, thank you for bringing that to the world and allowing other people to share their gifts and experience their joy in writing and whatever you do, because you talk about, and you've talked about making joy a daily choice. How can someone really start to do that when they're not feeling joy at all? They're down, they might be depressed, they have a very low energy. So how can someone start to really make joy a daily choice?
Yeah. Start by practicing gratitude. Look at things that are working. Instead of focusing where you are, and it's not talking about putting rose-colored glasses on, but focus on the things that are working, however little those things are, because our mind is a fascinated thing. It always wants to prove us right. So if you start noticing things that are working, you suddenly might realize how many more things are working. And it's not a one thing done and done. You gotta practice it every day, just like we brush our teeth because we want to have good oral hygiene.
Mhm.
Practicing gratitude, it's a daily occurrence, and it's not once a day. You can practice it any time of day, as many times as you like, to retrain our mind. As we said previously, our mind is always focused on the negative. So we gotta retrain ourselves to focus on the positive. And how can we do that? The best way and simplest way is to practice gratitude, however little it is. Sometimes when you are stuck in traffic and you're feeling miserable and you're rushing somewhere, instead of being mad at the traffic and the fact that you're stuck, bless the traffic. Bless the fact that you have a car, that
Yes.
you are safe and sound.
Yes.
And maybe there is an accident there, and the fact that you're stuck here, you're not in that accident. Be grateful for that.
Mm.
Take that opportunity to focus on your blessings in your life, however little they are. Because sometimes, yes, they are very little. And when we are in the darkest place, all we can see is dark. We can never experience what it is like, how amazing it is to have a sun if we never felt the rain.
Yes.
We need to have that, you call it, contrast.
Mm.
So when you're in the dark, look for something that is working, that will be your light, that will be your step towards light, towards seeing the light in the end of the tunnel, by taking those little breadcrumbs and pulling them one by one to getting yourself out there. And next step would be to practice meditation. And I know it's not for everyone. You can start small by taking pauses. You can do walking meditation. When we're looking out in nature, nature has this amazing health benefit. It quiets our mind. It allows us to be present. It allows us to be open. Suddenly, the best way actually to change your mood is to move your body. Taking a walk outside, around the block. Or if you're somewhere where woods are available, or a walking stream, running stream, that's all the better. You might get fresh ideas flowing in your head.
Totally agree with you. And thank you. Meditation is very important, but even if it's only for a couple of minutes, and like you said, you can do walking meditation. Go out and experience nature. You know, slow your thoughts down just for a moment, and you'll receive a lot of benefit from that. So thank you for sharing that. And again, being grateful for all the little things in our life throughout the day. So wonderful advice. Thank you. And what about for you, Irina, if you could go back and speak to your younger self at a moment of pain or disconnection that you experienced, what would you say to her now?
Believe in yourself. You don't have to be like somebody else. You get to redefine your own normal. And you're not broken. You know how in Japan they have those, I forgot the name, beautiful vases, and they put gold in between the cracks?
Yes.
We all have those cracks in ourselves. Or if you're a woman and you have given birth, you have stretch marks maybe on your belly. But they don't make you ugly, they make you beautiful, they make you unique. We all have those little cracks in our personality, but those are the beautiful things that make us who we are, because we are not robots, we are humans and we make mistakes. And the point is not to dwell on the mistakes, but to use them as learning opportunities, as a bridge to create a different personality.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you. And it's so true. And yes, the Japanese tradition of filling the cracks with gold, kazushis or something like that I do believe. And that all the cracks that we have in our lives makes us unique, makes us beautiful. And we can fill our own cracks with the gold of joy.
Yes.
And if someone is listening today who is really feeling broken or lost, or that, you know, has no joy in their life, the joy is out of reach, what's one thing that you would like them to hear today?
That anything is possible if you choose to seek joy.
Mm.
You gotta have the desire to seek joy. I cannot make anybody happy. For many years, I thought my job was to make other people happy, and it's nothing further from the truth. We will always be disappointed when we seek happiness, or we expect other people to fulfill our happiness. They don't know. We're always gonna be in the miserable state. We gotta generate our own happiness. We come to this world by ourselves and we leave this world by ourselves. So we gotta be comfortable with being by ourselves, with ourselves, love ourselves, take ourselves out on a date and spend time with ourselves and find out what is it that makes you happy. We all know how to make a perfect cup of coffee if you drink coffee, or a perfect cup of tea. We know all of the right ingredients and the way that we make it in such a special way, with a special spoon and a special cup. And we know what it is that we like, that make us happy. Why don't we practice that? Why don't we stop putting this on hold and doing it for ourselves right here, right now?
That is a big thing we tend to say a lot, and this is a generalization. A lot of women tend to say that, yes, I want to do this, but after I finish that, after I finish this. It's the same as meditation. You know, if you're not in the habit of early morning meditation or when you wake up meditation, it's, oh, I've just got to do this, then I'll meditate. But before you know it, your day is over and you haven't meditated because it's been filled with, I've just got to do this and stuff. So
Yeah.
same as putting life off until there's the perfect time. So thank you ever so much. And with your book, we will be putting all your links below, and your book is available on your website, which is wonderful. And you also have a gift for people, your starter guide.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so the Gift Inside Starter Guide, it's a little mini journal that has prompts, that has little bits of the gift inside, how we can start ourselves on that journey, little checklists of the daily things, like for the morning routine and little pieces throughout the day. How are we being present? So little pieces like that and prompts, and it's available for free on my website, and it's called the Gift Inside Starter Guide.
We will be putting all your links in the comments for everyone to reach out for your book, either off your website or through Amazon, and of course, and your starter guide. So thank you. Thank you ever so much. And I'd love to know, Irina, before we wrap up, I think we've got so much more to talk about, but is there any other question that I could have asked you? And how would have you answered?
I think you did a great job.
Thank you. It really is about just allowing ourselves to feel happy again, even when life gets unfair, that we do have the choice and the option of feeling whole, of feeling joy, of feeling happy.
Yeah.
So thank you ever so much. It's been a wonder to talk to you. I'm going to be checking out the gift inside. I've got it up here. And I will also look out for your gift, the starter guide off your website. So thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Irina's final thoughts truly encapsulates the essence of today's conversation. It really is just allowing ourselves to feel happy again, even when life gets unfair, that we do have the choice and the option of feeling whole or feeling joy or feeling happy. If you are interested in exploring Irina's work further, be sure to check out her powerful book, The Gift Inside, a guide to healing across the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual realms. Plus, don't miss her free starter guide on her website to begin your own journey back to joy. You will find all the links in the notes below. And at Sacred You, we are here to create a space for connection, empowerment, and transformation. Join us at www.sacredyou, that's the letter U, .love for more empowering conversations and community connections. As always, please subscribe to our podcast, share it with a friend, or leave us a review. We would love to hear your thoughts. As Irina shared, healing does not require perfection. It requires presence. The journey to rediscovering happiness and purpose begins when we release the victim mindset, rebuild our identity, and reframe our perspective. Until next time, stay grounded, stay inspired, stay connected, and keep walking your pathway to well-being. From our heart to yours, thank you.